This video is sponsored by Card Kingdom. If you want Magic singles or sealed product, use my link in the description. Okay. This does have like a really high ceiling because of its ability to put counters on things. But it's a little bit clunky. Might still be the pick though. This isn't a pack I love. Like I think the Dirgecraft is pretty good, but it has the same sort of problem as the Vanguard, like clunky, doesn't always go off. So I think that's where we are. Radiant Strike is okay, but not great. Hole Carver's not bad. 1 mana, 1/1 Death Touch is basically never like a terrible a terrible card in limited. Usually it's solid or better. Yeah, we'll take the Vanguard here. So the Vanguard's at its best in a red-white deck with Spacecraft. That's the theme for red-white. So that's kind of what we would want to do. But if you're just an aggro deck and this is your top curve card, it's also pretty good. So, okay. Dual Sun Adepts or Diplomatic Relations. As I mentioned in the last video, in the last draft, for those of you watching on Twitch, not as good as it was at first because they eroded it to make it so it can only target a creature you control with the first part. So I think the Adepts are a little bit better than Diplomatic Relations is with that fix. You know, Zookeeper Mechan does interest me. It's pretty good ramp. I think maybe I like it a little more than a 3-mana 2/2. This has like a higher ceiling, but I do hate that stat line. Dying to 1-mana spells with that is brutal. Yeah, I think we'll take the Mechan, actually. I like it. Okay. I do think Bonder's Enclave's pretty good in the right deck. Hard to be sure we're going to end up in the right deck, though. Don't love the Savior. Focus Fire's okay. Interceptor Mechan, I think, is pretty good. And there's more than a 0% chance we end up in black-red, you know. So there's that. Melded Moxite is kind of interesting. But definitely better for like an artifact deck. I guess we'll take Focus Fire. It's going to be okay in like any deck. Yeah, we'll take the Mechan, actually. I just think this has a pretty high ceiling. Even if you never trigger Void, it seems pretty good to me. And I think you will trigger Void sometimes. So Grove Strider, I mean, that is a card I like. Starfighter Pilot's okay. I don't love Nebula Dragon at 7. This card's interesting. It's not terrible, I don't think, but it's not a high pick, and it's not something you want more than one of. Like all of those, like reanimate a small creature type spells. You know, Voidborn's not terrible, especially if you end up in black-red. Neither is the Pilot. Yeah, let's go Pilot. Okay. This is interesting, but I think probably too clunky for limited. It asks too much of you, basically. It does draw you a bunch of cards, but you have to give up the right card. I don't like Lux Night Breacher, but I do like reroute systems. Solid Trick, solid removal spell. I think I'm down with that. Seems like white's open. I'm less sure about the other colors. Okay. So I think Honor is surprisingly good. Going to be surprisingly good just because of the value it generates at 1 mana. I do like the Zealot okay, but I think I want an Honor here. It is better in like a deck like blue-white, but yeah. This is too finicky to be good and limited for the most part. It's an okay sideboard card, but we're playing best of 1. Only exiles small things, which I'm going to have small things too, so. Okay, this is a pretty late Grav kill, but it's not like insanely good at 4 mana. So I think I may just take a Dockworker Drone. White's open enough, and the secondary color is less certain here that we might end up in green-white, where this is going to be at its best. But it's also good in, you know, the double spell decks. Just having cheap creatures is good. And it's an okay 2-drop anyway, so. Okay. So, Turbo Drone seems okay. I like it more than this, even though we did lose a game to it a minute ago. This kind of trick, it's a little too narrow. You know, our opponent ended up in the situation where it was really good. But there are a lot of times where it doesn't do enough. I think we'll take the drone here. Yeah, we'll take a Radiant Strike here. The Whale's interesting. I do think it's a fine card, but... Alright, here we will take a Light Blade. Yeah, white's pretty open. That's for sure. We're leaning towards red as our second color, but a lot that could easily change. Another focus, or I guess we didn't have a focus fire yet, actually. We have Ragost here, who's cool. I think it's a cool card. Its ability to turn all your artifacts into food, throw food at people. But I don't think it's that good in Limited. Especially when we have a good card like Debris Field Crusher here, which has an amazing interest trigger. It works with their tap stuff, which you have a little bit of. So, yeah. I think we take a Debris Field Crusher here. Another Vanguard. You know, maybe Ragost a Wheel. Someone might take him for the laughs, I guess. But, yeah. He's a solid card. Like, I would play him in this deck, but I think a Spacecraft that is also removal is probably better for us than these other options. Okay. Cavalron Harrier is a really good one-drop. Just helps us go really aggro. I do like Dockworker Drone okay. None of the blue cards are amazing. You know, I think Tractor Beam's fine. Lost in Space is fine. I think we'll just take a Harrier here. I think we're like red-white aggro at this point. You know, the Harrier is something we can grab with our Shepherd, which matters. So yeah, it just feels like we're red-white aggro, which is supposed to have a bit of a Spacecraft theme. Right now, we've really only got one really big payoff for Spacecraft. I mean, I guess the Pilot is a little better, and so is Focus Fire. Yeah, Ragost is a really cool commander card. I would agree with you. Okay, another Mechan. I mean, I think I take that over the boosters, which I do like a fair bit, but 2 mana, 1/3. It's an artifact, which matters, and it can ramp our mana. The ability is kind of funny, I think. I mean, it's one of those abilities where they just tacked it on to make it like just a tiny bit better, but it is better. I mean, it gives you a late game way to suddenly do lethal, for example, and it can even produce mana for its own ability. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and take a Mechan here. Okay, another Mechan. There's also a Power Depot, which is an artifact, but I think it probably makes the most sense in like black-red, where it's easy to sacrifice. So Honor Knight Captain gives us a couple bodies. Mechan ramps our mana. Auxiliary Boosters is pretty good. Right now, the best this can search up is the Light Blade, which I'm not convinced I'm going to play. I'm sort of leaning in the direction of another Mechan. They just seem so good. And they're another way to tap our creatures for value with like Dawnstrike Vanguard. I do like the boosters, but I think grabbing another 2-drop is pretty good here. Okay, so I think I like Rayblade Trooper the most here. We're not going to be good with counters, but it's just a good value card. Like, even without Warp, it would be good, and with it, it's even better. Like it more than Frontline War Rager or Exosuit Savior. Yeah, we do have one other counter card right now. We may end up with more, but we would love to see some Signpost Uncommon, the Signpost Uncommon. I guess there's only one in this set, and or some more Spacecraft. And when I say more Spacecraft, I don't mean this one. That one's probably not playable in Limited. It doesn't actually turn into a creature ever. So, again, you know, I like this card, but it's here again with another good card in the form of Night Luminary that I think is better. For us. You know, this spits out 2 tokens in the end, and you get a 3/2 for the most part. Boosters, also pretty good, but if I'd picked up the guy who tutors up in equipment, I might have been more inclined to take it. None of this is great for us. The Light Blade, we've already got one. I'm not convinced I'm playing it, so I think I'll take Exosuit Savior. So, you know, we can have a second card we might play. All right, now we will take a boosters. Full Bore is interesting and probably would be good in our deck. Infinite Guidelight Station's funny, but, you know, it is a Spacecraft, but we're not there. I think we take the boosters. Yeah, it just, you know, giving you 2 artifacts, A 5-mana 3/4 flyer, and then this can move around to other things too. Very good. Just a good rate. Yeah, red does not seem insanely open. Like we got the mech hands, right? And that was exciting. But beyond that, I haven't seen a lot that I love. At this point, I feel like we're actually pretty decent at getting the Vanguard going. So I think I'm going to take it. We're going wide, and we have cards that tap themselves for various purposes, most notably our mech hands. So yeah, he puts it on the battlefield straight up, the equipment tutor guy. So that's going to be like the... Grabbing the boosters is going to be like the play you see the most, I think, in this format. All right, Brightspear Zealot is not terrible. Lux Knight Breacher is, I think. And I don't like the Savior either. Okay. Well, I think we have enough artifacts to make Rust Harvester work for us. So I think it's what we're going to take. We have 9 of them. Yeah, so I think it's what we take. Nice little 1-drop, gets in for a few hits, then turns your artifacts in your graveyard into counters and removal spells. It is instant speed, yeah, it is. That's what makes that card cool. I wouldn't hate Weftstalker Ardent. You know, we're pretty good at making multiple things with our cards, you know, tokens, or with the boosters, you know, you get 2 bodies. Not bodies, but you know what I mean. An artifact and a creature, which will trigger this twice. But the Harvester's great. Like, it's a 1-drop that can just win games, and that is unusual. So, ooh, okay. Well, we definitely take the Frigate here. Very good, because it's easy to get the Anthem out of it, and that's a good baseline. So I'm definitely in on it. Also makes it easier to station. We don't have a ton of removal. Our deck right now is a little bit like the opposite of our last one, which is just a pile of removal. But so Orbital Plunge is a little higher up in my pick order now than it would have been at the beginning. But the Frigate is still better, so that's where we go. That is where we go. Also helps our tappy things do their thing, so. Okay, so this is cool if you can double spell. We do have a lot of cheap cards. I think I like it a little more than the Pilot. Yeah, it's not at its best here. That would be in blue-white, but we do have lots of ways to trigger this. Okay. I don't hate Remnant Elemental. I don't love it either. Worth noting. Ooh, and we can even search up our Rust Harvester with our Shepherd. I just thought about that. That's sweet. I think we take another Luminary over a Boosters. I just think it's just such a good value common. Even more so than the Boosters is, which I do like, but white is pretty deep at common. Because it's sort of a 2-drop, right? You know, you can sort of put it in the 3 slot, the average. The Pangolin's not bad for us. I am low enough on removal that Emergency Eject is on my radar here. Yeah, I think we probably have to take it. We've got Focus Fire and stuff, but those are so much more conditional. So we'll take the Eject. It's bad when you have to take one. That card that 2-for-1s you, but sometimes you got to do it. Yeah, this deck looks pretty good to me. Ooh, another Shepherd. Yeah, we grab it. We have a couple of good ones it can grab. I mean, one more would make it even better, but it can also always grab a Plains. I wouldn't hate Honor, number 2. Or Radiant Strike, but I think this is just such a good 3-for-1 that it's pretty hard to take like anything over it that's not like a bomb. Like, it's kind of where it is. And we already have a Radiant Strike, so. Ooh. Well, I was worried about removal, and we have enough artifacts to play Hardlight Containment for sure, so we will. Definitely over Focus Fire. Does mean we need to keep our artifact count reasonably high as we build our deck. All right, we will take the boosters here. Unfortunately, we can't grab... It can only grab 1-mana creatures, so, or planes. So it can't grab Hardlight Containment, which would be pretty cool. But yeah, I don't like the Breacher. It just has such a bad baseline. Even when we're good at going wide, well, we did get all the auxiliary boosters we could take. Automaton Torpedo's not unplayable. Yeah, we got like every auxiliary boosters in the end. Makes me wish I had picked up that 2-mana 1/1 who makes a 1/1. Yeah, we do only have 2 spacecraft. It's a little sad. I don't think we really want the Turbodrome in our deck, so that is 1 artifact we're cutting. So yeah, we're sitting at what? 13 artifacts? We have a ton of 1s. We can afford to cut a few more artifacts, especially a mediocre one like the Light Blade. But we are pretty into artifacts, that's for sure. I don't think, even with all these 1s, I'm not that confident in the Lightsmith working out in our deck. Oh, I don't like the Savior. That's an easier cut to make. We probably don't want 3 auxiliary boosters in a deck that only has doesn't have a way to tutor it up. So it does go wide though, to an extent. I do think we cut 1 though. Like, it's unfortunate, but some of the worst cards in our deck are Emergency Eject and Radiant Strike, I think. Like, they're both very medium-ish removal spells, but we have so little removal that I think we have to do it. I don't think we can play this, even though it's an artifact. Yeah, that's true. I don't think we play this just because we're not going to decrease the cost on it very often. So, what we want to cut from here are things that are not artifacts and that don't really do that much with our strategy, but that's kind of hard. I mean, I guess Starfighter Pilot is pretty bad. Like, if he's not surveilling, which is going to be frequent, he's not very good. And he's not an artifact. He doesn't have a tap ability. You know, he does surveil 1 when he gets tapped, but that's not really enough for me. We kind of need to leave in all of our removal. Although you could maybe talk me into, we've got Focus Fire and Reroute Systems. Like, this is going to be pretty good as a removal spell in our deck. You could, I think maybe and we have Hard Light Containment. I think maybe we cut one of them. This has a higher ceiling, like as a removal spell, but this one has this trick mode. So Rayblade Trooper doesn't do anything with most of our strategies, but I just think it's good enough value to leave in. And I think the Lightsmith in a deck with this many 1-drops and several cards with Warp and Zookeeper Mechan, we can probably trigger it enough. How many artifacts are we sitting on right now? 10. I don't think we want to go lower with what our deck has ended up being. So I think that means maybe something. The Zealot's not great. Yeah, I'm not super high on the Trooper in our deck either, but its floor is still a 3-mana 3/3 with a bunch of upside. We have a few counter cards, so I think I'd rather cut the Zealot. And then I think we cut one of these mediocre removal spells. Like, all of our removal spells are pretty mediocre. So the Vanguard, I think, is good enough. I could maybe go to 1, but I do want to try the card out pretty badly. We do only have 2 spacecrafts, but then we have 3 mech hands that tap, Rust Harvester that taps, and obviously attacking is tapping as well. I can maybe see, maybe I am supposed to cut 1. Maybe that is what I'm supposed to do, now that I'm really thinking about this. Because, like, we can tap our things for sure, but maybe not so much that the Vanguard is good. Or great, anyway. Yeah, we'll cut a Vanguard. I think that is the right thing to do. So I think we actually go down to 8 planes, partly because this can grab planes, and also because we'd really like to play these 1s on turn 1. So, yeah. But I think that works for me. I can maybe see a world where I cut Radiant Strike or another one of our medium removal spells for putting the Vanguard back in, but I think we're fine here. We have more creatures than it looks like we do, for sure. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we ended up with 10 artifacts, which I think is enough for hard light containment and enough for we have Rust Harvester. Yeah. All right. Okay. Ooh, we got both our ones. Stationing this is going to be real easy on like turn 2, especially if we play the Harrier. All right, we're gonna keep 7. This is a good hand. Does mean we have to forgo attacking, but then we have this thing online, so I don't think I'm too worried. Means that the token that this makes will also be a 3/3 now. I don't think we start stationing it beyond this point until we can't attack with our creatures, generally speaking. We'll see. Oh, it is annoying that they played like one of the few creatures beefy enough to just... Now we probably do go ahead and... well, maybe not. We do with our Harvester, but the Harrier can actually send 2 bodies in and we'll get in for 3, so I probably do that. Yeah. And then we play the Harvester, and yeah. Yep, I can kill the Escort next turn too, which is nice. So there are some silly things you can do with this, like warp in the 9/9 and have this become a 9/4 for a turn, and that would definitely hurt. No doubt about that. But for the most part, it's just going to be like a 3/4 or something, you know. Which is certainly annoying, but not that bad. Ooh. Now they have themselves a spacecraft. Okay, they decided to go all in on theirs, which I think is good news for us. Yeah, so what do you need? 7 counters? I don't think we need to blow it up. I think I'd rather just play another creature here. I mean, we can hit them for so much damage right here that I think we just do that. And then play the creature and crew with it, or station. Then we go Mechan. So there is a chance they play another expensive artifact and can get this going and cheat something into play. But we'll see. Yeah, they're going to be able to attack with it here. I think. Yeah, they'll be able to attack with it here. I wonder what they'll put into play. Yeah, well, now we can just kill it. See what they put into play, though. That might create some problems. You don't usually have something worthwhile to put on the battlefield with this kind of effect, but they did it early enough. Yeah, I mean, that's not something I'm all that concerned about. Ooh, okay. So, what do I want to do here? So I could play the boosters. I could just get this going and attack with a 3/5 flying lifelink this turn. For sure. Like, that's definitely an option. But I could also kill one of these probably the escort and then just have really good attacks this turn. I feel like that's actually better. And if they didn't have something else to put in play, it's highly unlikely they draw something that's all that scary. So, yeah, we'll go ahead. Hi, Tukey. We'll go ahead and kill this. And let's see. I think we'll attack with both of these. And then we will do this. It does open us to taking some damage on the backswing, but I'm not that worried about it. We're at 19, so, you know, they can swing for about 11. Yeah, that is better than what they put on the battlefield before. That's for sure. Ooh, Mystifying Maze is kind of good right now. Oh, that's annoying. Can't really attack with this. Fine. You're not going to let me do what I want, because it can exile attacking creatures, and then, this will come back with no counters on it. So, yeah. Not where I want to be, really. I think we send our Harrier in here. I do have access. No, not quite. Yeah, only attacking. It's true, but my plan was going to be turn this into a creature. And now there's not really any point in doing it. Well, station it and keep it as a blocker. Yeah, you're right. There's some value to be had there. And we will do that this turn. Definitely attacking with this. The question is whether I want to make a token. I probably don't. Yeah, I probably don't. Because I'd like to play these boosters, too. Okay, well, that's fine. So now we go boosters. End our turn. They're just doing that to draw cards, which makes me feel good. I mean, I wish they didn't have the option, but the fact that they felt like they needed to do it is a good sign. So yeah, now we have two flyers who can wreak havoc. They can exile this, too, and take it away entirely. Yeah, he has to leave up all his mana to use the maze, is the downside. It's very good against our board right now, but they do have to leave up all their mana to use it every turn. So, it's 4 mana. Which makes it interesting they discarded an island a little bit, I think. Okay, then. So, I can kill the sledge ship with Focus Fire. So that's good news. I don't love attacking with either of these creatures who would normally be pretty big threats, but I wonder if I'm just supposed to anyway. So, yeah, attack with the carrier, make an attacking body does actually seem pretty good here. I think that's what we're going to do. We're not quite at a point where we can attack with everything, but if I get rid of this flyer, we will be. I can then make a token with this too. Or cast it. I could do either one. So they could exile the token. That's fine. Then I think I play this, and hopefully we can go wide enough with them feeling the need to leave up the said ship that, I mean, the Mystifying Maze that we can get in for lethal. If they block with the said ship here, we definitely cast Focus Fire and get it out of the way, because it's the only real problem we're facing right now. Other than the maze, which has saved them. I mean, maybe it's sort of making their turns one-dimensional, but it has saved them. They'd be dead if it weren't for the maze. Ooh, I might get to blow up 2 things. Let's find out. They might have a trick here. But we are doing 8, so it has to be like a hexproof indestructible trick. There is one of those. There is one of those. Don't get me wrong. So nice. I'm a little surprised if they let us do this. Oh, I see. I see what you're doing there. I do think we put it on top. So we do have an artifact now for our Rust Harvester. So I could use its ability to kill something here. But I can also do it at instant speed at any point, and maybe it's just better to get a 1/1. Yeah. Let's kill the Eulogist here. So next turn, I can play out the Luminary and the Frigate. Okay. I mean, that maze was really good in that game. It probably felt kind of frustrating for them, though, because it was probably also like, I can't do anything else. I mean, if we get hands where we get to turn our Frigate into an Anthem, like every game on like turn 2, it's going to go pretty well. This is not one of those hands. It's a solid hand, though. Putting a counter on our Mechan is fine. You know, look at it this way. This is like 2/3 of the 3-mana draw 2, put a counter on something card from the last set. Hey, that's annoying. That's freaking Cabaron Harrier. It's 2/3 of that card for 1/3 of the mana. So now I can grab a 1-drop to play 2. Interesting. Okay. So should not have played my mana that way. But because I was going to cast Honor too, but we'll go ahead and warp here. And we will grab... We want our Rust Harvester. We're going to be able to get another one. The Harrier is better at this specific moment, so I think we get our own Harrier. Needle Spires. That's one of them nasty lands. Ooh, that's a really good spacecraft. Alright, now we play our Shepherd again. This time we will grab our Rust Harvester. This just becomes a 4/3 flyer, so it's not, you know, most of its value is from the interest trigger, but the fact it kills something and then is like, sup, I'm a 4/3 flyer is kind of a problem. Yep. I think we're probably supposed to kill the Harrier here. Maybe not. We can block that later. Yeah, we'll take... We have a lot of other things that can block the Harrier. Ooh, there's our frigate. That's helpful. If I do this correctly, I can also leave up focus fire. So, it does mean I have to take a hit. No, it doesn't, because I have focus fire. So, I think we're just going to do that. And leave up our focus fire here. Putting 2 more counters on it doesn't really seem worth it to me. So we won't. Yeah, so I think I'm going to double block the Breacher, see if I can get them to use a trick, and if they don't, and if they do, use Focus Fire, and if they don't, use Focus Fire. Well, that's annoying. I can still kill their creature, but I do lose my Harvester before it gets to go off. Get rid of that thing. Take 4. Well, that's interesting. Big life linker. I don't love... I mean, I don't really feel like I have the time to go really wild here, unfortunately, with it, but... Hold on. If I... So this needs 9 more. I can do it this turn. It's a question of whether I'll survive if I do it, though. I guess if I leave the life linker back... But I can't really leave it back. I think we do it this way. Do I attack here? Get up to 13? Probably not. Gonna get counters on everything, so that's helpful. They might be able to kill our frigate more easily now that it's a creature. Yeah, there's the downside. They did decide not to attack us, though. I like that part. Okay, so I think we're going to put a counter on our life linker here. So they have a total of 7 power over there. So that means if I then... Do I want to warp this? All my creatures have counters on them. I mean, warping it gives me more value in the long run, but I'm not sure that's... This will also get a counter if the Vanguard survives. Yeah, so let's play the Trooper for realsies. Stick the counter there. Attack with both of those. Do I also attack with the Mechan? It does die to the Warmaker gunship blocking it, but that's kind of okay. If that's how they're going to block. Because then these two will survive, and I'll get a bunch of counters, so... Yeah, I had a feeling they'd block that way, which works for me. We get a token out of the deal. End our turn. We do have Needle Spires, which can smash in for 4 at a time. At some point, potentially. Alright. We get another token, at least. Oh, that's a good draw. Lightning Bolt your Pangolin. And I think we're better served by just attacking here. So if they leave mana up, they can animate a 2/1 double striker, which isn't great. Alright, more removal. That's a pretty strong way to do things. They can only kill a token with Plasma Bolt, but it's still pretty strong. Like, yeah. So let's attack them with our token. I can actually attack with both. Oh, I can only activate it as a sorcery. So I can get this pretty high, but not as high as I would like. So I think we just buff our token here. Attack with both of these. We just need them to blank on a draw, and we have lethal. Oh, except they have Needle Spires. Well, if they'd left it back, they wouldn't be dead here, but now they are. Didn't see myself winning with this ability on the first day of the format. Because in the draft I was talking about how it's kind of a throwaway ability, but when both players are in top deck mode, suddenly having a creature that can hit for 6 at a time is certainly relevant. But yeah, they could have animated their land and blocked it and killed it, and then we'd both be in top deck mode, except I'd have that 1/4, that spacecraft hanging out on the battlefield. Not our best hand, but it's better than it looks because of warp. So, works for me. I think we probably warp this first and this second, because we can warp with it and grab something to add to the board at the same time. Where this does add to the board on its own already. Yeah, that's probably something we're going to want to kill with reroute systems. Okay, does this change my plans? I think it probably does, yeah. More white mana would be nice. Maybe I'm just supposed to grab a Plains with the Shepherd in this situation. Because, like, I kind of want to kill this if they tap it, because I don't want them to ramp their mana. But if I do that, yeah. So I think we grab a Plains with this now is actually our more ideal play. That is a lot of mana. Okay, so we're going to do this. Warp this. Grab a Plains, because we have a bunch of white cards. As much as I'd like to grab a creature I can play, I think we need to do this first. Then I'll attack for 1. Ugh. This card's real good, especially when you're just slamming artifacts on the table like they are. Yeah. Don't love it. I think playing Night Luminary, just casting it the normal way, is maybe our best play here. I could play the Trooper and warp this in the same turn too, which isn't terrible. Yeah. So let's put the counter on the trooper. Yeah, they're going to keep putting counters on this. I need to find removal for it very quickly. Yeah, they've got all these stun effects on the board, too. Not removal. I mean, I think trying to go wide and hoping we draw our Anthem effect and some removal is probably the best plan, which means we go Harrier, Luminary. Next turn, we can grab our scrap guy. We don't have anything in our graveyard to exile right now, though. This can only put stun counters on things that are already tapped, which I think some people are going to overlook at like the pre-release, because that's not usually how that works. I would love if they... I think, actually, it won't even let you. It's not a mistake you can make on Arena. Okay, Focus Fire is good news. I can get rid of Meminon, finally. But I have to take another hit if I decided to play our Shepherd. I guess I could grab another Plains instead of our much better card. I'm not sure why I would, though. I think killing Meminon is important enough, but we can afford to take one more hit from him and grab a better card than a Plains. So, so let's do it. So we can grab this. We are good at going wide. Another big flyer. Not quite as scary as Meminon, though. Drawing our frigate would be great. Not sure I see it happening. It could, though. It would be really good because we'd immediately be able to buff our whole board and immediately, keep wanting to say crew, station it. Yeah, so it stuns down that thing, which doesn't hurt my feelings very much. Okay. Well, these two can combine pretty nicely, but I do need an artifact to exile or it's like completely useless, because I could buff its power to 5, but it still needs an artifact to target in my graveyard, and I could try to get one in there right now, but I don't think that's what I want to do. Yeah. Enjoy your sweet, sweet value, which, you know, that's the kind of deck I like to play. So we definitely try to kill Meminon when it attacks us here. Oh, God. Pinnacle Emissary. Now they're moving the counters around. I don't like that. Yeah, they get another... Oh, should have killed Meminon last turn and just not played the sweet one drop. Because now they go completely wild with the Emissary. I can still kill Meminon, but the advantage they just generated makes that a lot less meaningful, unfortunately, because they just made one of their creatures into a 5/5 flyer. Alright, so we're going to do this. And we're going to do this. Turn too late, though, unfortunately. I think. So many flyers. Because that will allow me to stay alive for one more turn. So that's something. I can kill one of them with Rust Harvester's ability should they block my Cavalron Harrier, which is interesting. But it would take a lot of mana. I actually don't have the mana for both right now. Yeah, so I think we go ahead and just Radiant Strike this while they're tapped out. Gain some life back, buy ourselves a little bit of time, and pass the turn. They do still have this ready to cast so that they can make a bunch of tokens, which I don't love. Plus, we're still dead in 2 turns to flyers here, so. I'd love if they attacked with a ground creature so that I could block with my Harrier. They're not gonna, though. Lumen-class Frigate. Do you actually help me stabilize here? Because you're a big lifelinker. I mean, maybe, if their hand's empty. 12, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I have to make it into a creature to have any hope here. Okay. Here's hoping their hand's empty. I kind of doubt it is, though. Yeah, the other ability is sorcery speed. I mean, if they can't kill the frigate here, we might just be able to wait this thing out and maybe win. I mean, we don't have great chance because they still have pretty good attacks here. They're just a lot worse now that my creatures are bigger and I have a 3/5 lifelinker that their flyers can't attack into without gaining me life. So, okay, they must have something here. So, we will block you. We will block you. We'll block you. And we'll block you. Is there a better way to block? Yes, because I could keep this alive. And I do still need to block this. So we're going to gain back 3. They're going to hit us for 5. The bad news is they don't really lose anything. But we do gain some life, and we hold on to a bunch of bodies too. So yeah, that's pretty gross here. They just get to draw 2. Wouldn't hate our card that pays us off for having tapped creatures. Having a way to not have my Rust Harvester die might have been nicer. I guess I should have blocked with a token because the Harvester could have had some fuel. I wish this had Vigilance. I wonder if buffing this 4, hitting them for 7, and going up to 10, is that somehow better? I don't think so. I think we're still in a holding pattern here. Oh, that's true. I guess I could have used the Mechan. That 5/5 is the only really problematic attacker. The rest don't worry me as much. That kind of makes it seem like, oh, they're just doing it to draw more cards, yeah. Yeah, this buff is only sorcery speed, unfortunately. Oh good, a creature that's going to be unblockable sometimes as they rip through their deck. Oof. Oof. Our opponent's doing crazy enough value things as it is. Us bricking on our draws makes it pretty challenging. Yeah, make your unblockable thing have +2. They might have lethal now, I guess. That can't attack yet, though, right? No, I guess it did come down last turn. I don't think we can survive this. Their deck is sweet. This definitely played like one of the biggest bombs in the set, as I thought it would. Yeah, so we block here. Back up to 3 we go. They draw another card. They're down to 8 cards. Hey! It's kind of interesting to draw this. Okay, so I mean, it gives us another lifelinker, but I think it's too late now. I mean, we had to give up. If we'd drawn it before we had to do all that blocking, it might have worked a little better. I do think we go ahead and tap both of these for the counters, because now we can gain 10. I have a feeling they can still overwhelm us, though, is the bad news with all their bodies. Just putting another counter on the Infiltrator will do it, actually. Or a Pinnacle Kill Shift, that'll do it, too. Yep, their deck was sweet. They definitely got there on the blue-red artifact nonsense, and it's hard for us to keep up with it. Especially when we were bricking on a few draws, but there weren't a lot of draws that could have gotten us out of that situation. I mean, if we had drawn the 5/6 lifelinker guy, like 4/5 lifelinker, I guess is what it is, like 2 turns earlier before they had their big alpha strike that devastated our board, then maybe. Ugh. This hand is a little better than it looks because we have both a 2-drop and a 4-drop in the form of Night Luminary, but I still think it's too many lands to feel good about. This one's not a lot better, but I think it is better. I think we have to send the boosters back. We need removal. We need a 1-drop. Need a 2-drop. I could maybe send the eject back, but it's likely to be useful at some point. So let's play our Harrier here. I'm kind of thinking about just making the token, but that's probably not a great idea, actually. We do need to draw more than just a 3rd land at this point, unfortunately. Not where I love to be. Okay, we did at least draw that 3rd one. We're going to need a 4th to feel, like, okay about things. Because then we can play our Luminary. Yeah, they don't have a way to draw with this yet. Good. I'm very glad I drew that 4th land. It makes our lives a lot better. Now, let's draw a 5th land, too. But yeah, this can draw them cards. They tap it to draw a card and do 1 damage to their creature, basically. If that creature gets dealt damage in any other way that turn, they also get to draw a card. Yeah, so they'll draw a card here. I kind of think we need to emergency eject their creature here. I don't love that, though. They are sort of mana screwed. I can at least wait to do it, but I can also just run out another creature and just let them keep drawing cards. I could also hit the Monolith, but with them only on 1 color, I kind of think we don't really want to cast the eject unless we really have to. So I'm going to play the Lightsmith here in my turn. Yeah, I mean, I think the only reason they're not doing more is because they're color screwed, right? So the idea of helping them, you know, get that other color of mana right now just doesn't seem great to me. The Mechan will be good. It'll help us get our mana where we need to be for our other cards. We weren't going to double spell anytime soon. I think it's pretty fun so far. I think it's way too early for anyone at all to say the set is meh, since this is like literally the first time people have drafted it. So, you know, aw, man. Why you gotta be like that? Well, I think we attack here and use Focus Fire. It's kind of horrible for them that they haven't managed to draw their 2nd color despite all the extra cards they drew. It's like, geez. What do they have to do? I'm kind of thinking I just swing out here, let them trade with my Luminary, drop them to 7, play this. This can bolt them, so... We might just have lethal next turn. That does make it a little harder to have lethal this turn. Let's see. Yeah, let's play our Rayblade Trooper here. Put a counter on our flyer. Oh, wait, I could... Counter... No, that's not quite. I could put a counter on it and emergency eject here, but I don't really think we do. We'll just cast it the old-fashioned way. Hit them for 4. So next turn, our Field Crusher will be lethal. There's their island that they were very unlucky not to draw until now. Ooh, gross card. Yeah. I'd be frustrated too. Yeah, there are so many people. One of the things that I always think is the most frustrating is people who, based just off their pre-release too, will be like, this set's terrible. And it's like, you can't really tell from one sealed. You know, you have a little tiny bit of evidence it's terrible. You have one data point. But you kind of need to play it more to see what's going on. But Oh yeah, I forgot we had hardline containment. Hard light containment. Yeah, we keep this. These shepherds have felt real good. That is for sure. Honors felt good. Mechan. This just felt kind of medium. I guess we did have one game where it kind of went off. It's definitely better in green-white, where you, like, have a bunch of +1, +1 counter stuff. There are a lot of people complaining about this set's art, saying that it's, like, looks like it's AI or something, which is always interesting to me. Like, people say that about everything now. And there is AI art, and it's a problem, but, like, saying everything is AI art is one thing. Yeah, I thought maybe we're going to get countered there. But I'd rather have that countered than get this countered and then never get anything out of it. That's for sure. Although, that was an artifact, so we could have put hard light containment on it, but... So, do I want to play my trooper here? Or my shepherd? I can shepherd and grab a creature that I can put containment on. Yeah. Yeah, I think I like that. It's not like we're... Not like that, though. We need to tap it like this. We already have an artifact in the graveyard, so I think we go with Rust Harvester here. It can't kill the Psionicist, but there are lots of things it can kill. Honor also makes it better. Oh yeah, there are definitely some typos and errata errors and stuff that are pretty questionable. I mean, I don't currently, you know, the 6 sets a year I think is definitely too fast. I don't think they're going to stop, though, because, you know, people have been saying that Magic was going to die for, like, forever at this point because of too many sets or because of this or because of that. And that's a pretty sweet Hymn of the Faller right there. And it just doesn't seem to die. So that's because people are still buying it. People still love the game, despite, you know, there are some things about it that aren't great these days. But, let's see. Let's cast Honor here. Then let's cast our Rayblade Trooper. So now the Harvester's ability will do 4 to something when we use it. And we also get in for 3. So, and when they kill it, we get a token. So adds a little bit of value. I mean, you know, as a content creator, in terms of, like, my bottom line, it's actually better for there to be 6 releases a year. Like, that's just the truth. You know, set reviews are one of the things that does the best on my channel. Oh, that's an annoying tractor beam, but okay. But it's still, like, you know, it's a little too much. I do think it's a little too much. Yeah, we'll play this. I think we grab... Another thing we can put hard light containment on, which is our other red 1-drop. So we have 2 artifacts now. I don't really want to play containment, like... I mean, maybe I will end up playing it soon, but this thing has been pretty sweet for them. Yeah, maybe I'm going to use it here to get rid of that Star Breach Whale, so I have an attack in the air. Okay. Well, is that still what I want to do? So let's play our Harrier. I wonder if playing the Crusher is actually going to be better, because it is harder to kill, because it's not going to be a creature unless I make it one. Yeah, I think I'm going to hold off on that. Well, I am going to play the Crusher here and kill their Gale Blade, but I was thinking I'd play Containment this turn, but I don't think we do. Even though I'm not currently planning on making this a creature anytime soon, none of my blocks right here are actually good. So I think I'm just going to do the thing. And that way, if we do want it to be a creature in the future, we just have to tap one thing. So ooh, Sothera. That's not good. So if our creatures die, if their creature dies, excuse me, they get to make me exile a creature, then it gets put under the Super Void. The good news is Hard Light Containment doesn't count as killing a creature. So we are going to do Hard Light Containment, put it on our Crusher, get rid of this Whale, and try to kill them before we ever have to worry about Sothera the Super Void. It's going to be hard, but not impossible. I'm only really planning on making this a creature in a turn where it helps us do lethal, because they're playing black, and it won't be that hard for them to kill it if it's a creature. So we just are kind of hoping we keep the skies clean here and they don't have removal. If they have removal, this is just going to outvalue us in a disgusting fashion. They may just be able to kill our Crusher anyway. Kind of looks that way. Oh god, Tractor Beam. Doesn't... Wait. Oh, because I don't control it anymore. I was going to say, it doesn't get rid of it. But it does. And now we're in a world of trouble. I don't think we have anything that can destroy the Super Void. But, oh, we do have the thing that gives them a lander. Yeah, we do have that. I think if I were them, I'd be much more keen on attacking. We have the time, so I think we get max value out of this by warping and everything. Playing a 3-2 this turn isn't really gonna... Oh, no, I did it right. I did it right. We just want to try to go wide enough that we can kill them at some point, and casting that for warp first definitely gives us a shot at doing it. I didn't love Aether Drift Limited. It was too, funnily enough, kind of one-dimensional for what it was. You know, there was too much that didn't work in the set. I did like Final Fantasy Limited a lot. So I should probably start playing lands then that I have in my hand, so the battle cruiser isn't as much of a problem. We're lucky they haven't drawn removal yet, but that's why if I were them, I would just attack, because they'd get to start exiling our stuff. All right, here they are going to stun that down so they can hit us for 3-ish. Yeah, keeping this land in my hand ended up hurting me, literally. I'm surprised they didn't attack with their whale. Well, there's emergency eject, so we do have a way to deal with the Super Void. The question is whether now I need to be more worried. I mean, this is going to attack and make me discard anyway. I guess I have ways to beat these creatures that I could still draw. And I don't have any way to beat Sothera in terms of blocking and stuff. So I think we passed the turn, but probably plan on using emergency eject. Although we're going to be dead to these in 2 turns, actually, because of Mechanozoa. It's going to make it so I can't block. So maybe I do just want to kill the battle cruiser. Like, at this point, Sothera isn't really the problem. It's just dying to 2 6-drops and a stun effect on our Shepherd. Yeah, so we'll do this. give up a token. Yeah, Aether Drift being slow was pretty hilarious. Man, if they hadn't taken our Rust Harvester away. Yeah, they can use the station on my Debris Field Crusher, which is pretty funny. Wait, why did this just untap? Oh, that's why. That's bad. They're going to use our own Rust Harvester against us. That's great. So if I lose a creature, I have to exile a creature. But I have to lose a creature to not be dead here. We will put a counter on our flyer. Get another token. All right, get another token. Do we have the luxury of time still? It is unfortunate. You know, if we drew our Anthem here, we might have been able to do lethal, which is kind of crazy. Because they have 2 blockers right now, and if I attack with everything, I make a body with this, so we have 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Can I make a body and use this ability? No. Yes. No. Yes! Except it has to tap to produce the mana, so I can't quite do it. If I hadn't held on to that stupid land, we would have enough mana to do it. I think they still wouldn't be lethal, though. They would just block our 2 biggest things. So, yeah. I guess we just play out the Luminary the normal way. We need the bodies. And we still have as kind of an out if we ever draw our... although, they can use Rust Harvester to kill us, basically, which is really backbreaking, because we haven't really gotten to go off with it. We used it as removal once. But yeah, our opponent's about to... they just have to untap it again with Nanoform Sentinel. Which they're doing with our own Debris Field Crusher, by the way. So they're... the Tractor Beam on these 2 cards is what killed us. So... brutal way to lose. I do like Tractor Beam. I think it's cool that they've been designing these like mind control removal spells that like nerf the card pretty hard, but they're still removal with upside. And that's definitely what that is. Okay, we got a 1-drop. We can make sure to grab our 3rd land with Starfield Shepherd. I wish I was going first a little bit, but what are you gonna do? Hilderblade. Don't love this card, mostly because it's so bad if you can't equip it for free. And there are ways to equip it for free, but man, I'm a little worried about them. Yep, our next in Magic Universe set is Lorwyn. Or Return to Lorwyn. I don't remember what it's called. Its name escapes me. It may change between now and then anyway, but... oh yeah, Umbral Caller Zealot's pretty cool. Free sacrifice effect with no limitations, which we don't see all that often. Let's attack with our Harrier here. I am not going to do the thing. Because... yeah, let's do the Shepherd here. grab our Harvester. Yeah. This is one way to set up equipping this for free, but they do need something else to sacrifice. Oh, they've got this little combo, though. Umbral Collar Zealot plus Lightless Evangel. You know, that's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Let's see. Maybe I should have grabbed a Plains, huh? So I can attack here, and then they can sack something to make this a 3/3. But then I have access to my Rust Harvester's ability, so I think making them sack something to kill our Harrier is fine. I don't really want to use Emergency Eject, which is something you're going to say a lot, I think. No, they're just going to take 2. That works as well. So let's play our Harvester. And Night Luminary. Yep, I said in-universe set. Spider-Man is, in fact, the next set. So, I think we just take 5-ish here. With their mana up, like, double blocking wasn't really an option. It's pretty clear they have some removal spell, so... Yep. Now they get a free equip. So let's cast Honor. Put a counter here. Drawing a land was nice. Play out our Mechan. I think we will actually attack for 1. Yeah, the Spider-Man Arena thing is a mess, where they're not really going to be Spider-Man cards. For that freaking set review, I'm going to have to... Didn't killing that was bad. I'm going to have to show both cards for that set review, which is not awesome. So they didn't get a license probably because of Marvel's Snap for having the cards in the digital space. They can only do them in paper. So the Arena release is going to look different. So is my best bet here actually to take 8? Because I kind of need a 5th land, although maybe I don't, actually. Yeah, we got to block. Yeah, Spider-Man does feel, you know, Final Fantasy, Lord of the Rings, and stuff like that. Seemed like they worked a little bit more. Doctor Who is a little weird, maybe. You know what, Lumen Class Frigate? This is like the one time when I don't want you. So I think we just have to run out Night Luminary and keep trying to buy ourselves time so that we can do these sweet things in our hand. I think maybe they thought they were going to get the digital release, but then it didn't. It just didn't work out for whatever reason. All right. They just keep slamming their big creatures in. I kind of need a 5th land right now, or I'm in some trouble here. Not a 5th land. Yeah, okay. So we'll play our Lightsmith. We just want to trade with this freaking Umbral Collar Zealot, which isn't even that good of a trade because they'll get a counter on their Evangel. So this hasn't felt great, kind of like I suspected in the set review. You know, it has such a powerful trigger, and it's probably better if you've managed to pull off the double spell synergy, like in a deck that has more double spell synergy. But all right. Well, At some point, I'm going to have to cast Emergency Eject on the Zealot, which is not another card that doesn't feel great. I gave it a C in the set review. It's felt more like a D, probably. Yeah, Sea Chip Agrarian is pretty sweet. Finally, they have something else, which is bad news for us. So far, they've only had these 2 threats, so I've sort of been able to hope I would draw our 5th land and eventually trade with this, but every single time they've managed to disrupt the trade that we wanted. Hilderblade. Yeah. To be honest, oh, that is so frustrating. Because it could do 3 to this. Yeah, we're dead. Because even if we Emergency Eject, they can sack Hilderblade to this and do lethal to us, but we'll let them do it. You know, it's funny. Some people might be more excited about it as on Arena because it's going to be like an in-universe set. Yeah, the misplay with the Angel, probably. I mean, we might have still lost. It's not one of those things that you could say cost us the game, and we definitely would have won, but we might not have lost. So yeah, all they have to do here is sacrifice something, and they have lethal. Yeah. Actually, they have double. They get a counter too, so. Okay, I'm letting you... You don't need to keep sacking things. I was going to say, I'm letting you do lethal here. Yeah, this deck was better than it performed, mostly because of my own mistakes, I think. I do think we've seen that the spacecraft are way easier to get going than people thought, which is kind of what I thought. You know, like in the set review, I didn't give any of them bomb grades because they do take enough setup, but I gave a lot Bs and B pluses, and I think a lot of them fall there. The Lumen class frigate definitely does, so...